I want to tell you a story about how new work became to be so important to me. Both my parents did physical work for their entire working life, and the way they portrayed work to me was something that you had to do, something that is not enjoyable, something you're glad when it's over. In fact, enjoyment seemed to be kind of the anti definition of work. If you enjoyed it, it was not work. Work was supposed to be a struggle. Ironically, they both worked a lot. They seemed to have this weird pride around how busy they were. It really didn't add up for me. So one summer, I did an internship at my mom's workplace. And the way I experienced it, her boss was horrible. He was choleric. Regardless of the quality of your work, his mood would determine if you get yelled at that day or not. I hated that. I found it absolutely disrespectful, and I just hated being treated like that. So I only had to endure this for a few weeks until my internship was over. But my mom, on the other hand, she did this for decades. And I remember asking her why she would tolerate such a behavior. Why would she not find another job where she was treated with respect and maybe even with care? I don't remember her answer, but I remember the realization I had in that moment. She didn't think there was an alternative. She thought this is just what work is. Well, I wanted to work differently. So I studied computer science and I was going to have an office job, and surely that will be different, right? Well, it was sort of, but not in its essence. No, I didn't get yelled at, but still there was a sense of hostility in the way that our clients treated us when I first started working. So the company I worked for had just taken over a project from another company for a big client. The project was in trouble, so there was this immediate sense of hostility and mistrust. And while they didn't treat me poorly all the time, it was clear to me that I was at the whim of their mood, just like my mom had been. And on top of that, the way I felt treated by my managers and supervisors was mechanic. It was clear to me if they had the choice of hiring a robot that did my job or this bundle of flesh with human needs attached, they would go for the robot. So within a few weeks of starting my working life, I was completely disillusioned. I was not going to work 40 years of this. And what I had learned from my mom, I didn't believe anymore that my company was just a bad exception and I could just find another one. This was the norm. So that is when I started looking for different ways of working. Though I love coding and I would have happily stayed in that line of working, I wasn't going to work like this for the rest of my career. Luckily for me, the agile software development movement had just taken off, and I jumped on that bandwagon and never got off again. So far, it led me from supporting teams with iterative development to supporting companies with self-organization to creating workplaces that feel more humane. And most importantly, to lots of work that felt meaningful to me. So the answer to why do I want what new work stands for? Why do I want it so bad that not only do I want to transform the company I work for, but attempt to change how we humans see and define work? Well, that's simple. Because new work is how I want to be treated when I show up every day trying to give my best.